Hey all my crafty friends, it's Lynn from Humblebee Craft Studio, and today I have for you Magnolia Design Co's April Craft Club. Now, Craft Club comes every month to your door, and it's awesome because you can create it exactly by the directions, or you can personalize it and make it your very own. So today what I'm doing is I'm making it my very own. And you make yours your very own. Even if it's exactly like it looks like on the directions. So every month, Craft Club comes out on the first of the month, and you may join at any time. And even though I'm a creator, I joined Craft Club because the stencil is exclusive. The surface is exclusive. I have the chalk paste and the squeegee that I need, and I keep my squeegees because you can never have enough squeegees. They also have embellishments that you can choose to use or not use. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use mine. It comes with instructions and you get video tutorials. It's as easy as that. So let's go with this, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. So again, in my kit, I received my surface. My surface was not painted. It was black, and it just had unpainted, unfinished, anything wood. Perfect, exactly what I needed. It came with the stencil, my chalk paste and squeegee, and again, my embellishments. Everything I need. However, I'm a crafter, so I have craft supplies. But if you don't want a ton of craft supplies, Craft Club's the way to go. So let's get started with this. I first used Waverly's Snow White chalk paint, and I used Elephant. Elephant's becoming one of my favorites. That and antique wax. So now, what am I going to add for embellishments? Well, I'm kind of looking at this like a birdhouse, and I do have a bird. I just don't know what I did with the bird. I put it aside because the cat was getting at it. You know, cats, birds, even if they're not a real bird. And yeah, you know how it goes. I don't even have to tell you. I'm also using a wire ribbon. And the ribbon itself comes on a roll. I got this at Hobby Lobby. Comes on a roll, looks like this. The reason I have this is because I wanted to show you that's what it looks like, and it's very shiny. However, mine is not so shiny. I didn't want it to be shiny. And I'll tell you exactly, in fact, I'll even show you how I did that. So first what I did was I painted this white, and I let it dry completely. Then I had a wooden candlestick holder. I did the same thing. I painted it white. If you'll notice, I shabbied this with my Elephant chalk paint. And I'm going to show you how I did that right here with my candlestick. The candlestick, I ordered a set of them off of Amazon, but I would recommend, oh, I might have enough paint left on this. I recommend that you totally look at your thrift stores to find anything that could be a holder for your little house here. So before we get started on that, I just want to show you what this is going to look like. So I'm just going to dab some paint, and then the direction I went with my chalk paint when I was chalking this was back and forth. And so I'm just going to put a little bit more on that side. And I'm just turning this around, and I'm dry brushing just to kind of give it that more rustic, used feel. And some of these, I'm just going to keep going on this. I want to make them just a little bit lighter. And if I make them too dark, what do? I add white. So just wanted to get that on here. And we're going to allow that to dry while we work on our project. That's why I'm doing that first. Oh, I want this base to be really shabby down here, so I'm just really gonna shabby that up, make it gray. Okay, setting that aside, setting my paint aside. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. The black came with it. Once I was done painting, I went out and used a, if I can grab this here, Rust-Oleum 2X matte. The reason I have the blue label on that is to tell me this one's matte, because I usually use satin as my final coat. So I did go ahead and prep this. Now I clear coat everything before I use my chalk paste. And to me, the chalk paste adheres better. If I make a mistake, I'm less likely to have that shadowing that can come. I find darker colors tend to shadow more, and there's even ways to fix that. I'm going to open up my stencil, and since this is brand new, I am going to grab my mark. Ugh, that's not the marker I want. I'm going to write April CC for Craft Club, and I'm going to put 2023 on it. That way I know this is the back, and this is where I don't want to replace my stencil on this side. I want to place it on this side. And it tells me, once I have tons out here, exactly what it is. I am going to take my stencil cutters and I'm going to cut on this line. And I bet I just cut half my name off. Oh, I didn't. Well, go figure. Now I'm going to do what's called fuzzing. These are reusable. And when you use them for the first, second, sometimes the third time, depending upon your surface, you want to do what's called fuzzing. This is a tacky towel, a green tacky towel, two-sided, and this is where I'm going to fuzz. This is my brand new one. I go through these because I forget, and then I craft on top of them, and yeah. But I melted hot glue right into my other side, so there we go. So I am going to peel off my stencil, and I'm going to set my stencil backer aside, and I'm just going to put this down. The stencils come very sticky. Remember, it's because you can use them over and over again. You just wash it off and let it dry, put it on your backer sheet, and use it again. So I'm going to fuzz this a couple of times just to make sure that it's not going to stick to my surface. Actually, I'm going to go one more time with that. Alrighty. So now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to fold this little corner over just a little bit. You see, I did that just a little bit. And I do that because this is a surface where it's going to lie down in here, and it's going to go all the way up against the sides. And personally, I like having something that I can hold on to when I pull it up. So now I'm going over my stencil, and I'm just making sure there are no bubbles, and I can feel a bubble when I went over that. So I'm just going to peel this up a little bit and go back down over it. No bubble, but I made a new bubble on the bottom. Come on, Lynn. Oh, it's been a crazy day. Crazy, crazy, crazy day. I was just about to come live, and I noticed that half of my lunch was on my shirt. So I went to my t-shirt drawer and grabbed this. Thankfully, I have t-shirts hanging out in my craft room, so it was crazy. All right, that's ready to go. I am not going to use my sample. I'm going to go ahead and use mine because I use my sample to give you samples. Did you know that? I do. I send samples so you can try it. It's called a try it kit. If you want a try it kit, put your name in the comments. I'll get you a try it kit. I can get that in the mail. So I'm just starting at the top. It doesn't take a lot of chalk paste, and yet usually what happens is when you get that chalk paste chalk paste sample packet, you can actually do a couple of projects with that, so you can save it. So always save your chalk paste samples. They're not going to last forever, but if you turn them over, I'll show you later if I remember. If you roll over the edges, put a clip on it and put it in a plastic bag, it's going to last longer. Okay, I'm just getting my excess off of here, and then we're going to pull up our reveal. Okie dokie. All right, so I'm going to get my little corner here, and I'm going to pull up my stencil. And voila, it's that easy. It is that easy. Trust me, if it wasn't that easy, I wouldn't be doing it. It's just, these reusable stencils are priceless. They're just priceless. I love that I can use them over and over again. Because I'm a klutz and, you know, messy crafter, I'm going to take my heat gun. You can also use your hair dryer. And I'm just going to dry this up a little bit because knowing me, I would smudge it. I'm a smudger. So my inspiration for this was my cat. Yes, my cat. Because it's 78 degrees in Minnesota. I still have snow in my yard, but it's 78 degrees. And along with 78 degree comes birds. And I'm going to tell you, they're really loud. And so Briggs, of course, has to jump up on the couch or wherever he can and watch the birds. And he makes funny noises at the birds. He really does. And I just thought, oh, it's so beautiful. The birds are back. I'm going to make my little house into a birdhouse. Kind of, sort of. And so, see, we love the birds. The birds know we love them. And so love brings us home, right? So before we go any further, I wanted to tell you, so I just painted this. I did not clear coat this, but I'm not going to worry about that because when I do my final coat of clear coating my sign here, I will also clear coat this. So I am going to, oh, I was looking for my wood glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my house onto my candlestick. And to do that, I'm going to put my wood glue on here, and I'm going to put wood glue right here. Oops, it's seeping into the inside. That's okay. Better than the outside, right? So I've got my wood glue there. And then, to give me a temporary hold, I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm going to put a dot here. You know, I'm heavy-handed today, and I'm sure glad that all my glue is falling to the inside, not the outside. Now, why did I use two different types of glue? The hot glue is going to set up fast and allow me to continue working while this sets. because it'll take a while for that wood glue to dry. And if I started messing around and I just had my wood glue on there, I would have my house falling off my candlestick. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see what we have going on. All right, so I've got that. Ooh, I have to take my I have to close up my wood glue and my chalk paint. Did you know that chalk paint dries out just like chalk paste does? And so I use my handy dandy spritzer with distilled water. If you use regular water, even well water, you can get mold. And so as this dries and gets thicker, I spritz this. I do the same thing with my chalk paste. Paste. I think I got that right now. Somebody needs a nap, I think. Anyway, you can water down your chalk paint, like Waverly chalk paint, with distilled water, and this spritzer is up. I do this all the time because I love the spritzer. Watch. See how it keeps going? It's great for plants. I have 2 of them. I think I've said before, I might buy a 3rd. Okay, so this is what we've got. Now, okay, we got that hot glue out of there. Now I think I have it sturdy enough, yes, that we can start playing around. And you're going to have to imagine my little bird. I have to go find him. I'll try to find him before I post a final picture of this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is Spanish moss. I'm pulling it apart in the bag to lessen my mess. Oh, come on. Nah, that didn't really work that well. But anyway, I'm going to need more of this. But I'm taking this, and so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of trying to mold this into a little bit of a small nest to go on my house. So I'm actually going to try rolling this in a ball first. And I didn't bring my hairspray in here. Hairspray is really tough for me because of the smells. Yes, I have multiple chemical sensitivity added to my repertoire, right? But I'm going to try to kind of build this into a little nest. And so I'm just kind of fiddling around with this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and glue it onto my house, but I'm going to have to spray it with hairspray when I can put on a mask and go outside. Yes, I'm that sensitive. It's just crazy. So this isn't going all the way I want. Now, using my hot glue, I'm going to hot glue it onto my house. So I'm going to find my center, and then I'll turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. So I have that there. And then, again, I'm trying to really get my Spanish moss under control. It may need a trim. And I'm just going to set that right there. Now, I have a lot here because it's almost a ball. And I know I'm going to have to play with this more before I can put my bird in there. And I will go find my bird, my poor bird. The cat almost ate my bird. Not kidding. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so that's one part of my embellishment. Can you see my little bird sitting here? It's a cardinal. I have lost both of my parents, and cardinals were very important to my parents. And so whenever I do any decor for my home, I try to incorporate my cardinals as much as I can because it reminds me that I have my mom and dad, even though they aren't physically here with me. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a hair trim. Got that? Okay. Have to love Spanish moss mess. Okay, so that's where we are right now. And I'm trying to decide, you know, if you look at the picture here, oh, I got everything wet when I was spraying. Lynn, you can see that they wrapped the jute around. I don't know if you can see that. And then did the bow. And I think I'm going to use this a little bit differently. Can you tell I haven't decided how I'm going to use it yet? Whoa, I forgot about the beads. Okay, so I'm going to take, I'm not ready to take my twine. We're going back here. This is going to be my roof. I can't think straight today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my glue gun, but I'm also going to get my little, you can get these at Dollar Tree, my little finger protectors, which I usually put on and then I use different fingers. Silly me. Okay, because this is metal, it gets hot, and the glue will seep through. So, leave my little birdhouse there. I think my bird nest might need a little bit more, but I'm going to play with that when I have my hairspray. And I can spray outdoors because it's 78 degrees. I'm so excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on, I'm going to start on one side, and I'm actually putting this on very lightly because I don't want to get burned. I have gotten burned too many times. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put this all the way down on the edge to the bottom. And I have to kind of center this. It's not quite wide enough, but I'm going to go from here and push this down. And see what I'm doing there? And then I'm going to bend right here. Now, obviously, I went ahead and measured this first. So, measure twice, cut once. So, I'm going to take this now. I'm going to bend it back a little bit. And, oh, I have my glue gun on high. That's good. No wonder I burn myself. My glue gun has high and low. And silly me didn't look today. And so again, I'm just going over this very lightly. I did a better job of lightly on the last side. And now I'm going to start at the top. That hurt. This is requiring me to hold on a little bit more. And I'm just pushing this down flat to make sure it comes all the way to my edge. Okay, can you see how we've got it all the way to the edge? Yay! Okay, so there's my roof. You see that? And all that is metal ribbon. You usually find it in the wedding section at Hobby Lobby, but I'll make sure that I have links for you and at least where to get it. Okay. So I've got my house here. My bird's right here. See my bird? It's not red, but it's a bird. And then I think what I want to do with this, I can't decide if I really want to use this as my ribbon because I have so much gray on here. But I do know that I want to wrap twine on here. So I'm just going to take some of this. You will be able to use your twine on another project because believe me, there's a ton of twine here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this around here, I think. Let me see if I've got it centered. And I'm just going to wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap this until, of course, I make it into a knot because, you know, it's what I do. So I'm just going to go around here with lots of jute. I'm going to lay this down because Lynn's just having a day. Ay, ay, ay. Do you ever have those days that you get crafting and everything's going great and then all of a sudden everything just goes wrong? Well, I'm at that point today. Ay, ay, ay. Let's see how much of this I actually want to do. And I'm not gluing this at all. I'm wrapping it around tightly. That one I got a knot in. Guess it's even tighter now, right? Ah! And I think I'm going to go one more time around, and then I'm going to do a bow. And if I do a bow here, do I really want to do a bow at the top? The top needs something. Not sure what I'll do at the top. I'll figure something out. Okay, so I'm just going to tie this in a knot. It's already partially in a knot. And go from there. I'll do that one more time just to be sure. I had an idea what I wanted to do with this, and I've had this for a week sitting at my house waiting to do something with it, and I thought I had it all planned out, and obviously I don't. Okay, I'm going to cut these here and let that dangle, and then what do I want to do here? I'm going to tie a knot in here to make a bow. No, my knot's not going to be that big, I promise. Or my bow isn't going to be that big. These are going to be, it's going to be little. Pull that through. How little do I want it? This has got to come down more. And all I did, I tied it like I was tying a shoe. And now I'm just adjusting to make it the size I want, to make sure that they're okay. That's the size I want, but guess what? I'm going to do it again. So I'm tying my shoes. It's all I'm doing is tying my shoes. Actually, I'm tying jute, but I'm tying it like I'm tying my shoes. Pull that out. So you see how big that bow is, and they're uneven. I don't want that. So I'm going to pull this one in. And I'm pulling it in small because you're going to see that I'm going to pull that in a little bit smaller. I'm trying to make this. And don't worry about all my extras. I promise I use them on other projects. Okay. Get this done a little bit more. And I am going to take a piece of twine and just tie this together. Okay, glasses. Ugh. Always on my head, never on my face where they should be. Oh, come on, don't fall. Okay, I'm giving up on that. I am just going to put a dot of glue here. And I'm going to put this one on first. There we go. And I'm going to do another dot. Normally I would just tie these together, but obviously today I'm having trouble tying, so who knows. And so, of course, did you notice that? Did you catch that? I'm pushing down on this, and I had this finger that I should have been using so I don't burn myself again. And I am going to cut these off of my back one because I don't need all of that. So I just added, oh, just see what I just did? My fault. I will glue that back on again. So I just did this. See what happens when you don't put enough glue. Let's do this again. Let's see, this was hot glue. Okay, now if you're wondering why I'm not putting hot glue and wood glue together, it's because they will undo themselves. Each one takes the sticky away from the other one. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold this just a little bit longer. And I'm going to press it down. I just noticed that my roof, part of it is this was tucked under, so I'm going to have to try to play with that later. And I'm holding this longer just to make sure that I at least have that seal from the hot glue. And had I not been demonstrating, I would have set that aside and let it dry a couple hours before I kept going. But since I'm here with you, just sit and stare. We could stare at it and watch it dry for 2 hours. Wouldn't that be exciting? Oh, so exciting. Now as I'm looking at my little blow, I'm kind of hating it, but we'll figure it out. Okay, I am going to set that aside. Stay. Okay, in the meantime, I am going to take my ribbon, and oh, I love this. Okay, I'm going to make, I think this folded perfectly. Did it? Please say yes. I think this folded perfectly, that I can cut these. Oh, yes. They are going perfect. The way the ribbon was folded, it folded into equal size. And that's fantastic because then I can just go ahead and do this. I think I'm going to use this up in the corner. This may have to go. Haven't decided yet. So normally I would use a zip tie, but today I'm going to go with just this jute. Come on, squeeze together. Okay, I don't want you to squish it that way though. Oh, come on. I'm making a messy bow, and oh, is it messy. I'm going to have to play with this one a little bit. Because you're not cooperating. I don't want you to fold over. I need you to cooperate. Do you like how I talk to my ribbon? Yeah. Talk to my dogs, talk to my cat, talk to my ribbon. Just don't tell my husband. He'll think he married one strange woman. I know he already knows that he did, but that's why he loves me so much, because I'm silly. Okay, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to tie that. Take these off, Lynn. What are you doing? Ever have one of those days? I'm having it. Oh well, we're going to go with it, right? Okay, so we got that. Yay. And then we're going to tie it in a knot. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I post it later. Happy crafting. See you later. Bye.